Hi, I'm Amanda Melby, and I am the owner and head coach of Verve Studios in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm super excited to be teaching our foundational class, The Core. It's a combination of script analysis, individual exercises, scene partner work, foundational work, and it's such a great class because the progression from week 1 to week 8 is transformational. It is definitely a lot of work, but like any profession, the more work you put into it, the more you get out of it. We read a book called A Challenge for the Actor by Uta Hagen throughout the foundational courses. And if you're not familiar with Uta Hagen, you should look her up. She was a remarkable Broadway actress. And the book I love because it's really about human behavior. Acting is about human behavior. And what I love about Hagen's book is that she really breaks it down and simplifies it and clarifies how we behave. So if we can understand how we behave as humans and as artists and as people, then we have a much better chance of understanding how our characters behave. In A Challenge for the Actor, there are 10 exercises. These are individual exercises. It's 2 to 3 minutes of the actor's own life recreated in front of the class. And what's wonderful about these is that they really apply to both stage acting and film and television acting. In film and television, we often have this action text where it says a character walks into the room and does a couple of pieces of business and maybe says a couple of things about the character's emotion, but there's no scripted dialogue. That's exactly where these exercises come into play. It's a few minutes of motivated behavior. They also, of course, are wonderful for theater acting because we're often on the stage when we don't have lines and we're just being there and responding and reacting to other people and other characters. And the exercises are great for that. We do 2 partnered scenes in the core. One is called an A-B scene, which neither character is assigned or has a gender or has a name, just has a set of dialogue that's already written. And it's up to you and your scene partner to come up with the circumstances that feed those lines, that justify those lines. It's a wonderful technique exercise. The second scene that we do is a partnered scene from a play. And I always choose scenes from plays because they just present for a live class a lot better. But you're going to read the entire play and do the script analysis and the in-depth character work needed for that scene. You're going to rehearse it with your scene partner. And then we're going to put it up in class and you're going to perform it. When you're done presenting your work, I always ask you what worked and what didn't and why. Beginning actors often can't answer that question because they just don't know, or they think it was all wonderful or it was all terrible. Well, neither one of those things are true, right? There are going to be moments in each presentation, in each scene, in each monologue, in each exercise that were wonderful and insightful and connected and in the moment. And then there's going to be other moments within the work that is going to be disconnected or perhaps where you were distracted or you lost your concentration. And it's very, very important for each individual actor to be able to start to articulate where those moments were. And then my job, the longer I work with you, is to help you then figure out the next part of that question, which is why. Why didn't that work? Why did that work? What did you do? What behavior did you have? What were the circumstances that caused that to work or not to work? The reason why I ask each actor what worked and what didn't and why at the end of the presentation is so when you're out there in the real world on a set or working on a play or at an audition and you get real-time feedback from a director or from a casting director or from a producer and they ask you to make an adjustment, if you don't know what it is that you did, it's going to be very difficult to make that adjustment and to try and give them the result that they want. I want you as the actor to be empowered to be able to know what you did so that you can make an adjustment and give the director what he or she wants. Action verbs get me really excited because action verbs are the key to flexibility. Once you know what your objective is and what your obstacle is, right, then you have to be creative and be flexible in how you get what you want. And that's where action verbs come into play. And I'm telling you, every time I coach somebody, and we work through the action verbs, they just light up because they get it. It's such a quick and easy way, without your head exploding, right, to make an adjustment and to have the read come out in a completely different way. It's a really, really fun way to work and super effective and very easy to grab onto once you get the hang of it. And it's one of those keys that really make you both a directable and a flexible actor. We talk a lot about homework, but homework is flexible and scalable. The amount of homework that you have to do for every audition or for every scene or every part you're taking on varies. It varies based on how many characters you've already played in the past, based on how many experiences you've had in your life, based on how much you can relate to the character already as is. So that's what I love about the steps, is that you're able to continually add on to them and create even more and richer backstory and circumstances and real life. So these people, these characters become living, breathing human beings that we're just witnessing as an audience. So you need to know and really solidify what that process is for you. That's what the core is. That's what the core teaches you. What that process is, what your technique can be, and then how to apply it. That's what I love about the core class, is that we read about technique, we read about the craft, and then we apply it, we do it. We have 8 weeks of exploration and application. It's such a wonderful class, and I thoroughly enjoy teaching it, and it's such a great joy of mine to see the progression from week 1 to week 8. I've been working as a professional actor for over 30 years. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA and Actors Equity Association, and I've worked in equity theaters across the country, and I've worked in feature films, national commercials, television shows, you name it. I've worked in lots of different markets, including Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Minneapolis, St. Paul, here in Phoenix, Arizona. Cleveland, Ohio. I almost forgot Cleveland, Ohio. I did a ton of work when I lived in Cleveland, Ohio. In any case, working in those different markets brings a really unique perspective, right? I don't just teach from Phoenix, Arizona, right? Yes, we have a very specific market here, and I understand this market because I've been living here and teaching here for 15 years. But I also bring you the background and the education of what other markets are, having worked in those markets for 15 years before I came here. The studio is built around technique that works for any medium. Yes, we have to make tweaks if you're working in commercial. Yes, we have to make tweaks if you're working in sitcom or in drama or in a huge theater like Gamage or in a small intimate theater that might be a 99-seat theater or a feature film that's an indie or a studio film or a television production. But what you have to do to prepare for that is going to be universal. And that's what we really focus on at the studio, is what the process is for you. What's your technique? How do you develop the science of it and the craft of it? How do you put those things together to make your own individual technique? That's what I help you do. I invite actors of all levels to come take the core.